Hi, I'm Angela Moffa. I'm taking oral communications at CCAC this summer, and I'm here to talk about a large pet peeve of mine amongst many. But I just had a quick question for you guys. When you think of your childhood experiences, your childhood memories, what are some games and activities you think of when you think of that?
I played a lot of games as a kid, both inside and outside, but probably outside more. And one of the games that I play that sticks out most to me is playing freeze tag in my neighborhood with all my neighborhood friends. You know, we would get together and everybody would go outside and play freeze tag.
That's a great answer. Personally, I think of stuff just like that. I think of being outside with my neighborhood friends, playing Red Rover, going down to my nanny's house, gardening outside. Anything I could do to be outdoors is what I used to try and do. Did you know that kids nowadays spend about half the time playing outside as their parents did when they were children? According to The Guardian, research shows that kids on average a week are only playing 4 hours outside, compared to their parents who used to play an average of 8.2 hours. With the amount of hours kids play a week outside decreasing, the consequences are becoming larger. A rise of childhood diseases and disorders, lack of exposure to nature and the outside world in general, and also lowering children's imagination, creativity, and even social skills. When I think of diseases and disorders that are on the rise, I immediately go straight to childhood obesity. On a blog written by the Annie E. Casey Foundation, it states that from 2015 to 2016, 31% of children ages 10 to 17 were categorized as overweight or obese. This leads to other diseases such as type 2 diabetes, asthma, sleep apnea, other things that can affect them later in life that we're not really thinking about right at this moment. ADHD, attention deficit hyperactivity disorder, is also a huge disorder that sticks out in my brain because the American Psychiatric Association, the APA, has stated that 5% of American kids have been diagnosed with this disease. The Healthline also stated that there was at least a 42% increase in children ages 4 to 17 between 2003 and 2011. That's just 8 years that it has been drastically affected. My main question is, why do we continue to keep feeding these children all these prescription drugs and all these medicines when nature and being outside could be the key to all of this? It is a proven fact that nature increases attention spans, which could help out attention deficit hyperactivity disorder. Kids not being exposed to nature and the outside world is affecting us in ways that we don't imagine. The New York Post quoted, "We spend too much time fearing and pitying nature and not enough time enjoying it." Little do we know that being exposed to nature and the outside world helps kids learn how to handle emotions a lot better than you would even imagine. For instance, fear and anger. Kids learn that by going outside and experiencing it in their own ways, in their own terms. Antonio, my 6-year-old brother, he actually was terrified of the swings. He just didn't want to get on them, and they went too high in the air, too fast, whatever. He just did not like them at all. But the more and more he was exposed to them, and the more we let him wander and go by himself and try to experience it alone, the more he was able to get up the courage to go and conquer that fear. Now all he wants to ever do is go to the park, go swings. He wants me to build a tree swing in my backyard, so we're working on that. But also the reason that they aren't being outside is because parents are too scared and they're kind of hovering, in which I totally understand due to the way the world is nowadays. But it's not always good to hover and control every step your child makes. They have to be able to get out there and be their own person. Studies show that spending time outside in nature reduces stress for children and adults. So why not get outside with your children and try to reduce stress for not only yourself, but them as well, while also getting them engaged and making their own choices and discoveries. My final point I would like to talk about is how them not being outside and exposed to the nature is also lowering kids' imagination, creativity, and even social skills. Game of Thrones star Rayleigh Ritchie stated that's what childhood should be about: getting outdoors and going on adventures, using your imagination to customize the world you see, and feeding the appetite for fresh air and fun. As a kid, that's like basically what I lived by. I always wanted to be outdoors, I wanted to be having fun, whether it was making a stick into a wand and like being a fairy, or just running around and doing your own thing. Play gives children a chance to find themselves and find their own interest in stuff that they like and they enjoy. With no social play, it makes it harder for children to socialize with other children, to get along with other children. And it's very crucial to make sure that your kids are able to make friends and socialize amongst their age groups, even different age groups. There's many solutions that we can have to fix all of these problems. For instance, let your kids go out and explore, whether you're watching them from afar or going out to a park with them and doing nature walks. For instance, me and my family, we like to take my 6-year-old brother out for nature walks. We recently did one, and now that's all he can talk about. He really wants to go back and find the red bird, because that's one thing that we did not find. So he's very into that now, and he wants to go out and explore. He's getting a little bit more adventurous, and that's what we like. He's getting active, he's getting out in the nature, he's making his own choices, doing stuff on his own. So there's just many other things, also cutting down screen time, which is a huge thing. There's so many things that they can learn from being outside and outdoors without looking on the internet or watching it on a television show. So I'm going to pass out a questionnaire, and it's just going to have a couple simple questions, just asking you from your point of view what you thought of the speech today and what you're going to take from it. But I just want everybody to be able to get outdoors and be active and get their children involved as well. Thank you.